Hi and welcome back to my channel. I'm Tony and I'm building another Armortek 1:6 scale tank. It's the M26 Pershing. If you've been following me, you'll know that already. If you've just joined me, welcome, and I hope you enjoy the rest of this, the journey of the final stages of this build. So today it's all about getting the main gun installed. I'm not going to install the actual main gun itself, the long barrel, because I'm going to, obviously that's got to be painted. And I've got to paint that away from the turret, but we will get the sort of the main gun elevator mechanism on and then mantle it here on. So that's what we're going to do today. Now obviously last session we put a lot of accessories onto the turret and it's looking amazing, but this makes it difficult to work with because to do this stage I've got to flip this upside down. So as you can see, I've got it propped up on timbers and it's fairly stable. I'm good, happy with the way that it feels. And then once we've got this this section here complete, we'll get that in, and the next thing would be I've got to do a little bit of painting on the machine gun, and then we'll install the machine gun kit pack, or the pack, because I've received that from Armortek now, so thanks very much for Armortek for getting it across to me so quickly. We'll get that in, and then really the next stage will be to paint the turret, and it's going to look incredible. And then after that we go on and start bringing this amazing thing to life, putting all the other electronics and everything else in. So still a small journey left before we finish, but I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to it, and hope you guys continue to follow this build. So in a moment I will reset the camera and we'll get cracking. Right, we're just about ready to go. So obviously that the turret being upside down, we have to make sure that we remember that when we install this the main gun mount. Now the other thing just to bear in mind, that this is actually offset. I don't know if you can see that in the camera, it's slightly offset. So because we're working upside down, this is obviously the top. This is where the lifting hooks go here, that would, because that would be upside down, so we're looking at it like that. Then we need to make sure this is the inside, this is what you see on the inside of the tank. So this is for connecting up the, I think it's the recoil and the gun elevator. So that's what you're going to see on the inside. So that needs to be, if you like, this is facing forward. What we've got to do is make sure that when aligned, is dead center. Because if you don't, if you inadvertently put it the other way around, you could end up having it offset. And as you can see, the space here is wider than the space here. So let's make sure we do it the right way around. So that's now equidistant, if you like, there. And if we were to offer the whole assembly into place, that is right. So the easiest way, I think, to do this, and let me just move this into the camera so you can see a bit more, is to build this away from the turret and then put the main retaining bolts in. So you have, on this, we have two spaces that they go in like so, here and here. And then we have two 60mm M5 cap fixings with a washer. They go through the larger of the holes here and here, and they then go through the spaces and locate into this. So I'm going to fix those in now, so just bear with me while I set this up properly. See if we can just find that receptacle hole. Feels right. Just wind this in. I'm not putting any thread locker on this because I think I can get a really good grip, but also there is a washer on it, so that should do its job. So I think this would be quite awkward on the, if you were to do it as part of, well, it's while you put this part onto the turret. Really tight in there. That's not going to reach, but that will do its job. So that's that, nice and tight. So again, I'm just going to check its center on the hole. As you can see, I position this and it goes in beautifully. So that's that. Now the next thing we have is we have these two big mild steel retaining bolts. Now these should go in by hand without too much issues. Brilliant. So let's get the first one in and lined up. I'll just eye that through so I can see the pin is in it, and that's it. It's just going to start winding in. I'm just going to have to try and feel my way with that one. Just putting thread locker on that. It doesn't tell you to do this, but I'm just feel that it's right to do it. There we go, that feels right. Now these should just go in by hand, although on the Tiger they did need a bit of encouragement. That's it. That one's gone in lovely. This one needs a bit more. Let me just get my mole grips on that. Put a bit of protective cloth over that. That's it. That's it. They're in. It's as simple as that. Now, this sleeve, this plastic sleeve, will eventually go in here, and we just need to make sure it goes all the way through. Now I did test fit this, and I think it does need a bit of cleaning up. I think it will go, but I will just give that a bit of a, I'll just sand the outside of this because it's a little bit rough. It fits beautifully inside of the barrel, as I've displayed before, so that's no need to do any work on that at all. It slides wonderfully. So we just need to make sure that we get this. This is going to be Loctite glued in here, so it doesn't come out, and it just allows the barrel to roll freely. So I'll probably have to do a bit of cleaning up on that for it to fit perfectly through into this part of the back. So I'll do that another time, and then really the next part for this will be, we'll put the gun barrel, we'll assemble the gun. So the main gun, which is made of a few sections, 3 parts, like so. That gets screwed on here. These get glued together, and then that goes onto the gun barrel. So we do that. Well, we do that straight away. Right. So there's only 4 main components for this gun. Reasonably straightforward. So first things first, this little spacer, or I guess it's a gauger. I'm going to glue this on the inside of this. Now, it's not that obvious. It suggests that it goes this way, but I don't like the way that sits inside here. So I'm going to spin it around the other way. And, you know, purists, please forgive me. I don't think you're going to notice that when it's all painted and actually installed on the tank. So I'm just going to put a little bit of super glue. They do tell you to Loctite this. Just put a little bit of that around the edge. And then pop that on there. Just give that a tap. Just make sure that offers into there perfectly, and it is. Obviously these have got to be aligned correctly, not like that of course, but like that. Double checking my reference book and everything else, and it is right. And it's simply just locked. And now I have cleaned all these components up ahead of doing this, so so make sure you do that. Obviously anytime you're going to be using anything to do with any glues, adhesives and everything else, make sure that all the target component pieces are thoroughly cleaned. So we've got a bit of time just before that glue sets. I'm just making sure that aligns. Happy with that. And that's, well, it will go off in a moment. Just making sure we get contact. Have we? Yeah. that will go off in the fullness of time. Leave that there to set, and then it'll be screwed to the barrel. So that's all set, and this gets screwed into the pointy end, the business end if you like, of the barrel. And that just gets, now I've cleaned all this up, so this has, and I have test fitted this previously. It just screws on there like that, and I'm thinking about putting a little bit of thread locker on that just in case it does need to. I will. I'm not going to go mad with it. I'm just going to put a little bit just on that final couple of threads. Don't want that working itself loose when it's all painted. And just send that home nice and tight. And that's it. Let's zoom out now, and we can see, there we go. You can see I've got the sleeve in here already, so that went in all right. And this is where the barrel goes in, and this is when we get that sort of recoil action. So that's it. You can begin to see the sort of scale of it now, can't we? Let's just pop that up on a bit of timber. Actually begin to see the scale of this amazing thing. So so that's that done. Now there's a couple of things I haven't done on the turret as yet, so let me zoom in. So there's this row of screws here, and a row of screws along here, which are these slotted screws, and there's a couple of lifting hooks here. What I'm doing is I'm experimenting at the moment with a cover, like a canvas cover, and this is like prototype number 4 or 5 or something like that. And the idea is that this is going to actually form part, you know, what would have been the main protective cover on these tanks when they were first rolled out. So I've got a bit of work to do with this still. I'm still practicing and prototyping, but the reason why I'm telling you is that I haven't done this yet, and I haven't put the hooks in yet, because I'm going to wait until I've got I'm satisfied with what I'm trying to do with this. And when I get to that point, I will talk you through, if I've managed to do it successfully, I will talk you through how I'm going to do it. But that's the reason why I've left these out for now. But other than that, that's actually complete. And the next part really for me will be to set up the little machine gun. I've got to go and take some parts off the tank to get access to where the machine gun goes, and do a bit of painting and detailing on the machine gun, and then install that. That's done. So it's away and it's complete. So we'll crack on with that bit very shortly. So right, onto the machine gun. Now this is the actual machine gun mechanism itself, which comes as an option from Armortek. And if you are intending to go ahead and bring your tank to life, do not, under any circumstances, fit this onto your tank until you've got this piece of kit. Now, you can order this separately to all the other option packs from Armortek. They're brilliant like that. You can go in and just get them to send you this. And this comes with all the various brackets, the all-important servo unit, an LED light for the tank, and all your various little fixings. You will need, you know, 1 or 2 other fixings as well out of your main kit, just to pull this together. So, but with this, now when I painted this, I was a bit over eager and I sort of painted the edge, but I've since gone around and cleaned all this up, got all the paint off it, because it actually gets glued into the main hull. Now I have fixed this bracket onto the back like so, but what you have to do is these fixings here, these little M3 button fixings, they need to be ground down, because you want this, now it's outside of, it's just here actually, my old friend the tank. You want this to pass through the whole of the tank nice and easy. So with these on the actual side, if you don't grind them off or file them down, they'll clash with the tank. So I've gone ahead and done that. Then there's a 20mm M3 fixing that you put in from the back here, and you tighten it off here, and you put a bit of thread locker on. So that's that. So I mean, the thing is, if you don't, Now I think I'm going to be all right with this. If you don't do this out away from the tank, it's impossible in my view to do it. I mean, you've got, I mean, I know you can't see it, but there is a hatch that you can get in and get some access to it. But for the amount of work involved in this, haven't fully test fitted it, but I'm pretty sure if I assemble this whole thing as per the Armortek instructions and set it correctly, I should be able to pass this through as an entire assembly into the tank. Now, I will do that today, but I will not glue it in at this stage. I'll get it in, assembled, pass it through, and then I won't glue it in until I've got it powered up and tested and making sure that all of this works as it should. And I don't like forcing these little servos. We just want to make sure the machine gun has its full travel. So that's that. And then ahead of that, I went ahead and assembled the machine gun itself. And as you can see, I've painted this with a matte black finish, undercoat and matte black finish, and then I've just used some gunmetal acrylic to give it sort of a more realistic feel on the gun. So that's that. I did have to clean up the hole to allow the shaft to pass through to its full extent. There is a marker on it that, you know, it can only go as far as it goes, and I've just super glued it from the back. So the principle is that this passes through there, and then attached to the servo will actually make it, you know, allow it to do all of its various movements. So now we'll go on to do the other build up. So first thing I'm going to do is attach the servo. Now with this, there is a 2mm gauge fixing that has to go through, a little cap fixing that goes through here, but the hole needs to be opened up. So very carefully, either using a 2mm drill or you know, using a sort of a sort of a sharp point tool or a metal spike tool or whatever you want to call it. Very carefully work this hole open because you don't want to break the end. And so what happens now is that this gets fixed up underneath. I'm presenting it like so, so that the main mechanism is nearer the machine gun, or the machine gun entry. And then these will need a couple of little screws, little button fixings, which fix in behind. And just need to get the right tool. There we go. And they come in behind. Now you'll need to just sort of encourage these through the plastic. Make sure that's sitting in there correctly. Put your finger over it, you'll feel it coming through, and then there's a nut that goes on the end of that, corresponding nut. If it would just sit in there and behave itself, it would be really good. There's a little corresponding nut. I'm just holding that with my thumb, and that's that. So that's in. I'm not using thread locker on this because I don't think we need to. I mean, it will get rolled around a little bit, and but I'm sure. I mean, I might do, but for now I'm not. I think when you're test fitting all of these things, don't use thread locker. Put it together. For the time it takes you to put this together and then take it apart, it's well worth the exercise of doing that. Sorry, just out of camera. These things are so fiddly when you've got big old fingers like myself. So that's that little servo in place. So that's that. Now you've got this, which is the sort of main steering arm, if you like. You put this is a 3mm nut that goes on here, an M3 nut, sorry. Now I'm going to just put that on for now. Pop that on there like so. You can see that, and just make sure that it sits at the right height. It just needs to be wound up a bit. So now, I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but they're now sitting at the right height. So with that there, I'm now going to, there's an 8mm, 2mm somewhere, here it is, and that will go through here into, this is where it's going to get really awkward. You will go in, will you? Hang on. Yeah, it's the slot you want to be putting it in. Yeah, make sure that this slot is down this end rather than the hole. There's a hole the other end. That's odd. Right, so it's not actually getting through there because it's not wide enough. There we go, that's why. So, time for a little bit of filing. It wouldn't be the same without doing this. That's not going to work either there. That might actually need a drill to go through that. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's going to need a drill. So I'm going to go off camera, do that and come back.
12 seconds later.
Right, that's the slot made. I've got the screw in here, through the hole here. I've not tightened anything up yet. It's all fairly loose. Just need to adjust the height of this so that that's aligned. Probably have to do a bit more work with that. Then we've got the machine gun now all cleaned up. I've cleaned this little barrel thing here up. I'm now going to put a little bit of glue on this. That sort of goes in on that shaft like so. That's going to need a bit of encouragement. And I've only just taken that down so that the end of the barrel lines up with the sort of, if you like, the collar of this. Then that passes through like so. And then we have to line up, well, we can see that, but we have to line up a hole on here and a hole on that. So that is, we'll know it's in the right position when that does do that. That's right. I wonder if there's going to be enough movement. Okay, still would be. Just having a look at that now. Yeah, don't really like forcing servos, but anyway, that'll be fine. So I'm going to now line this up. I had it all lined up. There we go. And that takes, I think that's another 2.56mm. And that's, they're saying to put this in from underneath, which is, I think what I'm going to do is probably put that underneath through that. Then pass that through. You can just about see that. This is so awkward. I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm going to put a little bit of thread locker just on that. Hopefully that will encourage this to stay there. And it does. Pass this through. And it's come out again. If you're laughing at me doing this, yeah, I don't blame you. I said I'm doing this warts and all, so you can see how awkward it is. Just want to try and get that through that hole. Are you going to be good for me? Yes, you are. I just about see. I'm sorry, I'm doing this away from the camera. Just about see that presenting itself. there. And I just need, I'm going to pop that down a sec. Just need another nut. Inadvertently knocked it off the table. This is probably the most boring, dreariest part you've watched of this build. Sorry guys. So I'm just going to wedge something in there to stop that coming out. That big old file will probably do the job. Like so. Pop that on there. I could cheat and just do all this away from the camera, but I'm so close to the end of the build, I don't want to. I want you to see how much fun these parts of the build are. Ooh, almost there. And the great thing about this, guys, you can fast forward this. I have to persevere. Okay, we're getting there. We are getting there. And if I use the right socket. Right, that is it. Bit of a pain to do, but that is it. Now, the only thing I'm going to do now is just wind that up. Actually, I'm going to wind that down. I'm going to put a little bit of thread locker on that because I don't want that. Hang on, I don't want to get it on the actual arm. I just want to put it. I just don't want that to wind itself. That's enough. Tiny, 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 tiny little bit. And then just, I don't know if you can see that, just wind that up. It sits underneath that. And then, the final one comes down the top. And that just needs to be let fairly loose. Just want that to be fair. I'm going to wind that back down there. There we go. Needs to be fairly loose. And again, I'm just going to put a tiny, tiny little bit, just to stop it from winding off. Just take the excess off of that. And that's, as you can see, that is how I'm going to leave it, just like so. Right, so that's it. That's the assembly. The only thing missing is the light. So I'm going to pass this light through now. We come underneath all of that. And that goes right to the end of the gun. So when it fires, I guess you'll see the, because this is perforated, I guess you'll see the firing action through here. The only problem is it's got, you know, it's a little bit loose. So I think one might have to do is just put a dab of glue on that to stop that from coming out. So again, because once these are in, it's going to be so hard. I'm just going to put a dab of glue on the sleeve of this. This will be fine. And I'm going to put that back up in that point. And the next thing is we're going to put this inside the tank. Right, so there's the tank. As you can see, everything's been removed on the top deck, just so that we can start working on some of these parts. Now, yes, there is an access little hatch here which will allow you to get in and work on this piece, but still awkward. So I hope I've done the right thing. I've set the lead, so that's not going to come out. So I'm just going to pass the lighting lead through. Then I'm going to pass through. No, I'll just leave that as is. And I'm just going to gently pass that through like that. Then feed through the little servo lead. It will come through. That's it, it's all in. Now we just need to make sure that's the right way round, and that is the right way round. So basically that's it, and you just glue this piece in. So you know, that's it. But I'm not going to glue it because I have got to work with the electronics, and I've got to test this and everything else. And even though I can get in and do some, it's going to be really difficult through this top hatch here. So I'm not going to glue it just yet. I'm just going to leave it loose. It's all assembled, ready to be tested. The only thing I will do is this lead here, at some point we'll have to go back to a main controller. And I don't think it's, I'm already thinking it's the main controller is going to be back here, and I'm already thinking this is not going to be long enough. So I've got tons of these. These are so cheap. You can buy them on, you know, that old website that we all buy our stuff from. And they're just extension, male female extensions, and just make sure you plug in the right, you know, the right sequence of colours. Right, get my glasses on. That would help, wouldn't it? And that allows me to have enough or sufficient lead to go to the back of the tank if I need to do that. So that is that part done. So really, that was today's session. I'm sorry about the sort of the painstaking or frustration shown with assembling this. I just thought it would be a good idea to show you how you put this in. So that's the main gun, the machine gun, and the turret pretty much ready to paint. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put it all back on now, so you can see what it looks like with the gun, not fixed but with the gun, and then I'll talk about the next step. So that's it for today's session. Actually, when you look at the tank now, let me just straighten this barrel up so it's actually the right orientation. It's incredible. It's just, you know, I can't believe I've got it to this stage. Now we're not finished yet. There's still a bit to do, and there's a little bit more detail. There's like a cable to go on the back, for instance, and there's all the painting to do on the top. And I'm looking forward to doing that because that's going to really transform this. Then the mud guards, the tracks, then the mud guards in whatever order I decide, and then when it's all painted, all the weathering and all its sort of, you know, all its decals or stencils to be applied, its markings, should I say, to be applied, and then more work on the electronics. Now there's a few things I'm going to do on this that I didn't do on the Tiger. I'm going to experiment as well just to see if I can get that done. Not very strong on electronics, but I'm going to do a lot of research, and I'm definitely going to put like a breaker switch in the power line, and I'm probably going to put a resistor on the LED lights, because I didn't have the rear lights on the Tiger, but they're on this, and the research I've done would suggest that it's a good idea, and some of the other builders have suggested it as well, and thanks to Ray and Brian especially for giving me that direction and that tip about that. And then you know, I think it's a matter of a few weeks now, and then this thing could be coming to life. So I can't wait to get it operational. I'm still waiting for some of the other option packs from Armortek, but I'm sure they'll turn up in the fullness of time. And we'll get this thing out, we'll drive it, we'll put it as a bit of a face off against the Tiger, and we'll have some fun with it. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Hopefully you can see that it's really starting to come together, and when it's all sort of, when it's getting closer to the end, I'll do kind of a close-up video of the tank. I'll take it outside and we'll do a sort of a close-up video of the finishing and the markings and everything else, even ahead of doing the electronics, so you can get a feel for how it looks. And then I'm probably going to do a whole session, I mean, I say a whole session, probably be about half an hour video about the 50 cal machine gun, which is going to be mounted up on here, because that's an amazing piece of kit from Armortek. David over at Armortek is just a legend. Well, that needs a bit of work, and needs a bit of cleaning up and painting, assembly and painting and detailing and weathering and everything else. So we'll do that, and then that'll be the final showcase. And then if my experiment works out well with the canvas on the front here, I'll show you how I got around to do that as well, to finish it off. So that's me. Tony, trying to build another tank. Thank you for joining me. If you've just joined my channel, thank you and welcome, and I hope you stay for the duration of this build. Not long to go now, and if you've been following me all along, I really appreciate all your support, all your thumbs up and all your amazing comments. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you real soon. Thank you.